Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and we got a little bit of a different video for you today. We got a little bit of a comparison video here. Uh, this was kind of brought on from a comment that Anthony Dodge, the Model Train Outsider, left on a review video I did on the Walthers Proto 89-foot bi-level auto carrier, and I thought it was a good idea. I thought we might do a side-by-side comparison from a previous release of these Autoracks to the current version. So appreciate you leaving that comment there, Anthony, and we'll go ahead and do this comparison video. Now, you might look at these two cars and say, well, what's really the difference then besides the paint scheme? Well, this car here, this yellow car with the circle cross logo, BNSF logo, this is from a 2009-2010 release of the Walthers Gold Line auto carrier. This car here, of course, if you watch the review video, this is the one of the cars from the current release from late 2021. So we're kind of going to get these two cars side by side and look at what's changed and what's pretty much stayed the same. So hang on just a second. We'll get started here. Okay, we got these cars now. We're looking at them from the end here. There's actually not what you'd say just a whole heck of a lot that's different with these two cars. However, I will go ahead and point out some of the difference in the paint quality. If you notice on this earlier release, things like you would see on this BNSF car, where you see all these little highlights with the white paint here, these little white steps here on the side here. You notice that's not really on this car here. It's kind of more or less the color of the body. But as far as the level of decaling, compared with the current release, they're pretty close. I mean, they're really, really close. Almost even. There may be a few little extras here, like the yellow conspicuousy stripes here on the end. Maybe a few little extra decaling here, but really, it's really, really close as far as printing and lettering on this car. In fact, I'd say it's pretty close to being identical. Like I said in my review video, that's one thing I always hold Walthers high in regards for. They are really good at getting the small lettering down. In fact, I'll kind of turn the light on. Maybe it'll focus better if I do that. But we'll kind of zoom in on each car here. We'll start with this earlier release, and we'll let you get a look at that. Like I said, that's one thing Walthers does extremely well, is the printing on these cars. We'll tilt that up where you guys can get a look at that. And you can tell, very, very nice printing. Now, I do want to put a little bit of a disclaimer on here. When I tilt this camera down, you'll have to excuse the shakiness of it, but when I tilt it down, you'll notice this car has McHenry couplers on it. I actually put those on as aftermarket couplers for appearance. By this point, if I remember correctly, Walthers was already starting to use the Proto Max couplers for their cars. There was actually a time, though, when they did put McHenry couplers on here, but that's not what this car originally came with. But before, just FYI, there are actually some cars that Walthers did stick McHenrys on them for a brief time. So I just kind of want to throw that little bit of information out there. But also, you may notice here, there's no grab irons here on this car. That's also what denotes it from being a Gold Line car, is that it lacks its grab irons here. And in fact, I'll tilt it back up, because when I show you the Walthers Proto version, it will have the grab irons on here. And there's also supposed to be a couple of grab irons right up here as well. In fact, if you look close, you might can see the little dimples right there where you drill your holes out, which would be like I think a number 80 drill bit you would use to drill these out. But if you look carefully, you might can see the little dimples right there. Yeah, you got one right there, one right there, and you got one there, and one there. So, yeah, that's one thing that denotes it from being the newer Walthers Proto is that it lacks these grab irons right here. So we'll slide it over and we'll take a look at the Walthers Proto and you'll see the difference here. Okay, we're looking at the Walthers Proto car and we'll zoom back out just a little bit, but just to kind of show you here, the ends, as I mentioned, this is the out-of-the-box stock model. You notice it has the Proto Max coupler on this car. Again, the level of decaling, very, very nicely done here. We'll zoom back in and let you get a good look at that. And you notice on the Walthers Proto model, the grab irons right here are installed. And also you notice a little highlighted painting here on the door handles here. Looks very, very nice. Like the older version, you also notice you see the ramps for the upper level here. By the way, in case you missed it in the review video, these doors on these Walthers cars do not open. The versions Intermountain has, they do open. However, they suggest that you don't open them very many times. That's kind of one reason I prefer these cars over the Intermountains, because they're a little more durable, and I prefer durability over flash and dash, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, on the Intermountain versions, they do recommend you don't open the end doors very often, because they will become damaged. Hang on just a second. All right, sorry about that. I had a phone call come in, but anyway, where was I? I believe we was talking about these highlights here on the doors. You notice they painted those. We'll come down here, and you see again, very high quality printing right here. More highlights on the doors. Looks like, yeah, they even highlighted the door latches, which is really cool. And that's one thing I didn't notice on this model, is that they didn't paint it. And I'll kind of slide the camera over a little bit, and I'll point it down. You notice they didn't really highlight this on here. It's kind of painted the same color as the body. I didn't notice that at first, but that's really, really neat that they did that. So, yeah. Really, really cool. So we'll slide back over here. And again, you also get a closer look at the Proto Max couplers. And again, just like that's been omitted on the Walthers Gold Line car, we got more grab irons right here. Now, they may be a little hard to see, but right there they are. Right there. Right there. So very, very nice. And just studying the older car versus the new car, looks like the moldings are a little crisper on this version. Maybe it's just the way, maybe that's just being highlighted from the orange paint on this car. It may be highlighting it better, but still very, very nice here. So we'll spin these cars around and get them, let you guys get a look at them from the side here, and we'll compare them that way. Okay, we're getting a look at these cars from the sides now. We'll go ahead and zoom in on this guy here on the top. Let you get a look at that. And I kind of want to zoom in on the screens, because that might be a pretty good little area of interest here. You notice, now, these are plastic screens on both this model and the Walthers Proto model that's down here. But you can kind of see some differences uh, in the side paneling here. That could be the way these are painted. The Walthers Proto Mall, the paint technology's changed quite a bit on these cars here, and it's possible with with the uptick in the paint technologies where you can get them really close to looking like stainless steel or aluminum. Um, it may make them look a little more realistic on the newer versions than the older. But you can tell these here kind of have more of a grayish silver look to them. And we'll back off here and let you get a look at the BNSF model. And you can kind of see the difference right there. This looks a lot more like stainless steel or aluminum or whatever it is they use on the sides of these cars. I believe it's aluminum. But it really has that nice shiny metal appearance compared to the older car. That looks really, really nice. And of course, even the roof up here on top even has a nice kind of aluminum finish to it, more so than the older car. In fact, we'll tip it up there and let you get a look at the roof. And you can kind of see the differences right there. This one has kind of a more of a duller, darker appearance. This one, shinier appearance, looks a lot more like metal. Even though these are all, both the Walthers Gold Line and the current Proto model uses plastic paneling, side panels right here. So yeah, it looks really, really good. I think why don't I spin this top car around, because we want to look at the brake rigging here on these two cars. Again, we'll zoom in on the brake rigging. Let me just scoot that up where you can get a better look at it. So there's the brake rigging on the older Walthers Gold Line, and I look at the trucks. Also, one thing that's identical, the 2009-2010 release uses metal wheels and 70-ton trucks, and so does the current release from 2021. Also uses 70-ton trucks and metal wheels. So that's kind of one thing that's kind of stayed the same. And just from my viewpoint, the brake rigging and everything looks pretty much unchanged. Which honestly, it looks perfectly good. The tooling has held up well over the years. We'll kind of go down the side here. Take a look. You notice all the nice printing here. You kind of, there we go. You notice all this really, really nice printing here on the sides and all down this flat car here. We'll kind of look at that. Looks really, really good. And that's also kind of another thing that the Walthers Proto models have. They have a little bit more data on them than the more budget-friendly lines of their cars. So they look really pop out. Looks really, really nice. Of course, you see the nice BNSF logo right there. Looks really nice. And we'll come up here and look at the Walthers Gold Line car. Of course, you see the Circle Cross logo, the older BNSF logo right there. That was used pretty much from the merger all the way up to 2005 when they went to the current Wedge logo. But even for this older release, it has a lot of nice lettering on it. As you can see, probably not as much as the Proto version, but still there's a lot here. So, kind of go down the side here. Of course, you notice the older TTX logo right there versus the new logo right there. So, We'll come down the side here, look at that. And we'll flip them around, let you get a look at the other side. So hang on. Okay, all right, so now we got the cars turned around where we can look at the other side of each one of these cars. And again, we'll just kind of pan around and take a look at each car. And like I said, the older version really holds up well, even after over a decade after they were made. These old Gold Line cars really hold up nicely. So we'll kind of come down here, go down the side of this car, take a look at it. So yeah, very, very nice. And we'll pan down. We'll take a look at this BNSF, this current BNSF offering. And again, we'll travel down the side of this car. Of course, you see the yellow conspicuously stripes right here, the reflector stripes. So, all in all, these cars, although they haven't really gone through major changes in the past several years, Walthers has made some nice little refinements to them in the printing, the paint areas, and even highlighting some of the things like these little steps here on the ladders and on the end doors and whatnot. They're both very, very nice cars and very durable cars for what they are. You know, I would highly recommend them. I've always had high regards for Walthers' rolling stock. Now, on this new version, the price is about $65. To me, that's kind of a bit steep, I would think. You know, for basically using the same tooling, just upgrade in here and there on these cars. But then again, when you compare it to cars that are like 80, 90, $100, that's probably not a bad deal. But anyway, I just kind of wanted to do this little side-by-side video, show you guys kind of what's changed and what stayed the same on these Autoracks on these Walthers Autoracks over the years. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. And one other thing I wanted to show you too, if you ever want to change the couplers on, before I forget it, to take the couplers out of this thing, you got 3 screws right here. You have a screw right here, screw right here, and a screw right here. And this whole plate basically drops out and exposes the coupler. And you just simply slide the coupler out and put your KD coupler in place. Screw them back down. Screw these 3 screws back down, and you're in business. Pretty neat how easily you can change the couplers on these cars. I would probably suggest say that you probably wouldn't even have to take this thing all the way off. You could just loosen enough to get this coupler out, and probably just slide the new coupler in. I need to change the couplers on this one because this is the one I had issues with in that video where I ran the 60 car train on the club layout. This one car, you can see it right there, the McHenry coupler there is missing its spring right there, so I'll have to swap out the couplers anyway. So not a big deal, not a big chore, should be pretty easy to do. So we'll get that done, she'll be ready to roll again. So anyway, like I said, we hope you enjoyed this video on these on this little comparison of these 2 cars, and we got some more reviews for you on the way, so stay tuned, everybody. It's going to be fun. We'll catch you later. Bye for now.